Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another live here this morning and a little bit cooler day. And I'll wait for a few people to come on this morning and say hi. Good to have you on with us. Okay, so say hi. Let me know where you're from. Not that, our regulars I pretty well know. Rosa, how are you? And Cindy, good morning to you. Cindy, how are you? And St. Catharines. And Nativity from Orangeville. And okay, Donna, good morning to you, Donna. And Marin is on with us this morning, and Jeanette. And you guys are good, okay? I appreciate it very much. This may take me a couple of days. Jerry from Nouveau Brunswick. Jackie from Chapleau. Wow. Okay, and Yolande, how are you? Pam, Wasaga Beach. Oh, beautiful place, beautiful place. Okay, Kathy and Donna is from Park Hill. She's letting me know. Okay, so good morning to you guys, and welcome to another week of the Doctor is In podcast and live video. Charlotte, Dilla, Wendy, Diney. Is it Diney or, yeah, probably. Teresa from, and Todd from Oklahoma. Good morning. Nick is on with us this morning. I wanted to say hi to Teresa from Kitchener and Bernice from Newfoundland. Coast to coast, Canada and the United States. Diane from Kapuskasing and Glenna from New Brunswick and Michigan. Good morning, Michigan. Anne-Marie, how are you? Rebecca, good to have you on. You guys are great. I appreciate it. Elsie from Newfoundland too. Keith from Windsor, close to it, eh, Keith? And Rita from New Brunswick and Janice from New Brunswick. Margaret, Maggie, how are you? Good friend Maggie. Alan from Missouri. Rita and Irene. Okay, I got to get going. Troy, my buddy, Dr. Troy from Newfoundland. Okay, Lorraine, how are you? And Kathy. Okay, I got to get going here. So I'll come on after and say hi to you. I'll give it to you, the hi signal on... and John, I got to say hi to you from Elgin, Illinois. Okay, so... Okay, let me read this statistic again to you. It is absolutely astounding, but we're going to talk about how you get into that 12%. Now, this is not my statistics. I think it's worse than this, but I'll stick to the 88% that the CDC has said are unhealthy metabolically. Okay? And that could include, and it's all due to insulin, by the way. If you're metabolically unhealthy, it's insulin. It's that hormone. You can be unhealthy other ways, but 88% of the population, think about that. That is the most astounding statistic around. There's nothing, COVID don't mean nothing compared to this. The ramifications of 88% of the population being unhealthy metabolically is a tragedy of the worst kind because it affects you and me, not only if we're part of that 88%, because 88% means that you are much more susceptible to the big killers, cardiovascular disease, insulin. It's a death hormone. 88% of the population are metabolically unhealthy. That makes them at a much higher risk for cardio, cancer, Alzheimer's, diabetes. We could add autoimmune, but we'll stick to the big four. 88% of the population. It's incredible. No society could ever succeed. No society could ever flourish. No society could ever live through this without changing because of the astronomical cost to our society. And people don't want to talk about it too much. No, they don't. And politicians and the medical field and the pharmaceutical companies and the big food companies, they don't want to talk about this. You know why? It exposes their underbelly. They're part of the problem. And maybe some of them don't realize it, but it don't matter. It's incredible. And so today, maybe tomorrow too, and some of these things you guys know by heart, but I want to reinforce it. My goal in what I do, my goal is to educate. My goal is to coach. My goal is to get you into 12% of the population. Get you into that category. Now, there's no guarantees, okay? You can get hit by a truck. There are some things you can't control. I know that. But this you can control. This you can control. 88% of the population are metabolically messed up. That means their insulin is high. They have belly fat. They have the start of fatty liver. They have high levels of uric acid. Or just one of these put you into that category. 50% of the population, listen, I read this to you the other day. In the USA, but Canada is no different. Okay, we're not different. We eat the same foods. So here it is. In the USA, 2018, 12% metabolically healthy, just talked about that. 50% are diabetic and pre-diabetic. 50% of the population have high blood pressure. And now, astoundingly, this is beyond belief, that 50% of the population in Canada and the United States is obese. Obese. It's food. It's food. So I'm going to give you, I've got 8 things, but I might add another one or two. But I just want to give you, and I am going to post this list right after on our Martin Clinic private Facebook group. Okay, so if you don't belong to that, join in on that group. Okay, I'm going to post some very, very simple things that will get you into that 12%. You can start today. You can start today. You can get your loved ones, if they're willing, to start today. To change their life. To change the direction of their life. To get them off the Titanic and on to bigger and better things health-wise. So 8 things that will do it. Repetition, repetition, repetition. So here they are. Not necessarily in order of importance, because they're all important. But number 1 is food, so I put them number 1. Eat red meat. Eggs, meat, and cheese. The good dairy. There's bad dairy. White Pepsi, don't drink milk. Drink cream. You can have cream and you can have cheese. So understand that. Eat red meat. If you don't eat red meat, you're just fooling yourself. And I don't care what indoctrination they're doing in our society today. Google red meat and you're not going to like what you see. Because it's all lies, guys. And you know, some people, they don't understand nutrition, so they buy the lie. From Netflix to whatever, documentaries out, and there's you know, even in you know, the World Health Organization have been indoctrinated. Even by, and sponsored this meatless craze, I call it. Okay? And the stock of this meatless craze is going crazy. But if you find out who's behind it, the Bill Gates Foundation, co-founder of Facebook, they're behind all this. There is a strategy to get people to avoid animal products. And I'm telling you something, guys. I know this doesn't make me popular, but I'm going to say it to you again and again and again. The people with the highest levels of cholesterol live the longest. And in case you've forgotten, cholesterol, 85% of it comes out of your liver, by the way. Cholesterol is essential. 15% comes out of your diet, and you must eat animal products to get cholesterol. You see, plants don't have cholesterol. So when they talk about the meatless burgers and whatever, soy burgers and whatever, those are cancer burgers. Cancer burgers. Substitute sausage. You know, that you can buy at McDonald's and Tim Hortons and in your grocery store. They're cancer producing. There, I've said it. Soy-based products, driving up your estrogen. Driving up your estrogen, which is another killer in our society today. So you have to eat animal protein. And ladies, chicken has some cholesterol, but not much. I know you like your chicken. That's all right. Chicken's good. It's got protein. But you need red meat, without which you get no B12. No heme iron, no L-carnitine, no L-arginine, no L-leucine. I hate to hide behind the word science, because science has been hijacked these days. Science has been hijacked. Oh, it's science. Science has been hijacked by vested interest groups. And I'm going to be, you know me, and if you don't and you want to get to know me, I'm Mr. Consistent. I'm going to tell you, and I've said it, and I've said it, and I've said it, you need to eat red meat. It's part of my vitamin, the Martin Clinic vitamin, vitamin S steak. No food in the world. Maybe liver. I don't talk about liver that much. It's just because I don't like it. I wish I did, but I don't, okay? So, steak. And Joanne from Texas, Eat your steak. Eat your steak. So if you want to be metabolically healthy and you want to join the 12%, you need to eat red meat. And you need to eat eggs, meat, and cheese. And cream. And part of meat is fish, of course. Right? Fish. I have fish every day in a capsule. But again, like I said, and you know, I get it every week, so I just going to bring it out. Every week I get people on either our private Facebook group or asking questions to the clinic, which we really appreciate, by the way. I'm so confused, Dr. Martin. I'm so confused. Why are you confused? Well, I don't know. My doctor wants me to get my cholesterol down, and you're telling me to get my cholesterol up. I'm so confused. Well, don't be confused. Understand this, and I say it in all due respect. Doctors, by and large, know nothing about nutrition. By and large. They're not taught it in medical school anymore. They're not taught in medical school. And if they are, it's brought to you by the food industry that would love you to be a vegan or a vegetarian. Yeah? And the pharmaceutical industry that hammers cholesterol every chance they get because of the number one selling drug of all time, Lipitor, based on LDL, so-called bad cholesterol. There's no such thing as bad cholesterol. Your body can't live without it. Your brain can't survive without it. Your cells need it. And God doesn't trust you enough to eat enough cholesterol. That's science. 85% of your cholesterol is made by your body. And there's only really one bad lipid in your blood. It's a bad one. It's called triglycerides. It's not cholesterol. Triglycerides are not cholesterol. They're 3 triglyceride, 3 fat balls made from sugar. So you know this, and I reinforce it because I want you to get into that 12% of being metabolically healthy to reduce your risk of heart disease and stroke. Yes, reduce your risk. Reduce your risk of cancer by eating the right foods. And I appreciate my choir out there that know these things. But I'm going to pump your tires because this is important. In health, this is the most important thing. You need to understand this because the world out there has gone crazy. It's indoctrination. Folks, it's like a religion. Even to a lot of doctors, this is a religion that you stop eating animal products and getting your cholesterol down. It's craziness. First day of medical school, you learn the importance of cholesterol. You can't take biochemistry. You can't understand physiology without understanding the importance of cholesterol. But they've made it a boogeyman. A boogeyman. So 1, eat red meat. Okay, you can have some chicken too. But don't live on chicken. It doesn't have enough cholesterol for you. And you need eggs. And you need cheese. For a vast, for many, many other reasons. You'll see it when you get my book. The Diet Doctors Won't Share It With You. Coming to a theater near you. Okay, I get uptight. I get uptight, as you can see. It's part of my workout when I get uptight, because I start, I hyperventilate. When I see a lie, I don't know if there's anything that bothers me more, is when I see lies. I can't handle it. And I think you know me enough by now. Okay. So, number one, and I only got 8. So we're not doing it all today, I promise you that. If you want to be metabolically healthy, you have to eat red meat. You cannot be metabolically healthy, listen to what I'm saying, if you're a vegetarian or a vegan. Then you're not going to get cholesterol. If you don't get cholesterol, you cannot be metabolically healthy. I'm sorry, you just can't. Now, I work with my patients and people. I still will coach you. If you insist on being a vegetarian or a vegan, I will tell you what to do. But you can't take a cholesterol capsule. You can take an anti-cholesterol capsule in a pill, but I don't want you to do that. Vegetarians are a little better because they'll eat eggs. And they'll have cheese. The vegans won't have any of that. Anyway. See, my blood pressure went up. It's all right. It's coming down now. I'm not as excited as I was. Okay, so that's number one on the hit parade. Positive food. Number 2 is the opposite in a negative sense. Eliminate sugar. If you want to be metabolically healthy and join the 12%, come join us. I want you to join me in the 12%. Join our club. Eat red meat, eggs, meat, and cheese. Eat cholesterol. That's what I really meant. And 2, get rid of sugar in your life. You don't need it. Sugar is poison. Sugar is toxic. Sugar is the new smoking. Get rid of it. We went from 25 pounds in the 70s to 25 pounds in the 50s, 50 pounds in the 70s, and 200 pounds. A dump truck could come into my office here and dump 200 pounds of sugar in a dump truck or a large wheelbarrow. That's what people are consuming in sugars today. And it puts them in a terrible category of being metabolically unhealthy. So if you do nothing else, do those first 2 things. Eat cholesterol. And 2, avoid sugar like the plague. Stop eating it. I didn't say that was going to be easy, by the way. That's not easy. It's in everything. The food industry found out when they took fat out of food. You take fat out of food, food don't taste good without fat. So when they went on their anti-cholesterol kick, you know what they substituted it with? Sugar. And as I've told you many times in the past, the worst thing that happened in the 1970s in terms of sugar is the food industry made a sugar in the lab, and it's called high fructose corn syrup, and it's in everything from ketchup to peanut butter. Yes, unhealthy peanut butter. I eat natural peanut butter, vitamin P. It's because I love it, okay? Salad dressings. It's in bread. It's in bagels. It's in store-bought muffins. It's in cookies. It's in crackers. It's in everything. It's in cereals. So, what do? Eat cholesterol and avoid sugar. And 2.B, okay, so 2.A was avoid sugar, and 2B is cut out your crappy carbohydrates. All of the foods that I just mentioned in that list, stop eating them. Oh, Dr. Martin, I love my variety of foods. Why? Variety is overrated. We live in a different world. I'm going to do a segment this week, I think, called The New Normal. You know, have you heard that word? The New Normal, you know? One thing I find out about government generally, when they implement something, good luck getting rid of it. And this is what scares me. I'm going to go up a little rabbit trail just for a second, I promise. It scares me about the masks. Because it's going to be the new normal. You're going to have to get used to it. Even if there's no more COVID. But you might get another wave. So why don't we wear masks now? Every time you go into a grocery store or whatever, wear a mask. And, you get on a plane, wear a mask. And when you're, wear a mask. Well, okay, I see it. But you see what happens? When the government gets involved, they usually never take it away after that. They make it part of their DNA. Even if there's no virus around. But anyway, I'm back from that little rabbit trail. Okay? But all I'm saying is, we live in a very different world. We live in a very different world. So you might sense that I'm extreme. But to get into that little narrow category of 12%, you have to be extreme. You have to be disciplined in your food. You can't live out here, I'm just going to have a variety of food. Variety is the spice of life. Have you heard of that? Not when it comes to food. You have no idea how many people a day I tell people, will you stop eating that? Rope in your diet, I tell them. It's kind of funny in a way, like you guys, again, I know you know me, so I'm always in jest to some extent. I love teasing. And, I get people, Doc, the reset. Do you really mean eggs, meat, and cheese only? Yes, I mean it. 30 days. I've been eating bacon and eggs since I don't know, 2 years old. I still like bacon and eggs. Don't you? I don't get tired of it. I've been eating sausage since I'm a little kid. Do I like them? I love them. I've been eating cheese since I'm a little boy. I didn't get tired of that. I still love it. Variety. No. Not anymore. I guess in the 1950s when we were consuming 25 pounds of sugar a year. Variety, okay. Do you remember? Look, if you're not my age, go watch an old movie. Everybody was this big around. And the reason they got sick is because they smoked like fiends. They didn't even know smoking was bad for them. They didn't. My dad was a doctor, he didn't know. Everybody smoked. They didn't understand it was bad for you. I know that's hard to believe. You have to be my age to know that. I talk to young people today, and they've been drummed into, and I'm glad they have been drummed into, don't smoke. I agree with that 1,000,000%. But if you were a little boy in the 1950s or a little girl in the 1950s, smoking was a part of the fabric of society. Whenever I watch movies, back in the, whatever, everybody's smoking. But I grew up in a house like that with my dad and mom. And I told you the story of my dad going cold turkey. Just came home one day. I saw him do it. He said, "You see these cigarettes? It's the last pack." And they were full. He said, "I'm never going to smoke again." My dad went cold turkey, never had another cigarette in his life. I didn't even understand what he was telling me. I think I was 10 years old. Well, how can smoking be bad for you, Dad? Mom smokes, my brothers smoke. Okay, but the world's changed, guys. It's not smoking. Even though today it still kills a lot of people. It's amazing. The new lung, I've said this to you before, the lung cancer is still, did you know that the number one cancer in Canada, in the United States, is lung cancer? And you could say it's the environment, but I tell you it's not, although that is a factor. We breathe in, xenoestrogens and things like that, but that's not what it is. I did a podcast on that, and if you want to go look at it, it's what sugar does and vegetable oils do to your lungs. They create aldehydes, the same thing that smoke used to do. So when you're having those meatless burgers, you're creating aldehydes because they're made with soy and vegetable oils. High levels of omega-6. And it creates inflammation and aldehydes in the lungs. Anyways, how many did we get at today? 2. Eat cholesterol and avoid sugar like the plague. If you do those 2 things, you're well on your way to getting into the 12%. I think it's less. I think it's only about 10 or 8%, but let's go with 12. You want to get into that percentage of healthy people? Do those 2 things. Eat lots of cholesterol. Someone calls you fathead, take it as a compliment. Your brain is made up of cholesterol. You think you need it? Yes, you need it. Okay, so eat it and avoid sugar, crappy carbs. 2.B. Hey, we got 6 more to go. I might even add 1. If you want to be healthy metabolically. We'll do that tomorrow. Lord willing. Okay, so any questions, send them in, please. If you're not part of our Martin Clinic private Facebook group, you got to get into that group. Tremendous group. I will post these. In that group, okay? So, to be continued. Okay, love you guys, and I mean that. I just don't say that. You know that, eh? I mean it. I appreciate your attention. I appreciate the fact that you follow this series, and you have no idea how much that pumps up my tires as I'm pumping up yours. Okay? Love you guys, and talk to you soon.